Hello. Okay, so let me tell you guys actually about a squirrel situation. I am a huge fan of squirrels. I love cats, but if I had to pick like a quirky favorite animal, probably if I had to say a favorite animal, I would definitely tell you squirrels. But realistically, I really like cats a lot. But let's say my favorite animal is the squirrel. And many years ago, I saw online that if you do this sort of motion, when you see a squirrel, if it's looking at you, if it's not looking at you, it doesn't matter what you're doing. But if you can make eye contact with a squirrel and do this sort of motion, that is the motion that they do with their tail. When they are being affectionate. Okay? Do you follow? So, if you do this motion, I don't think I could do it as well with my left hand. If you do this motion with your hand and your arm, a rolling, flapping motion, you are telling the squirrel, don't do two hands because they only have one tail, just do one hand. I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. Anyway, you are telling the squirrel, I am friendly. And the squirrel will tell you right back, I am friendly. And the squirrel thinks that you guys have a friendly connection. And the squirrel will pay attention to you, come closer to you, let you give it treats if it is a relatively tame squirrel, like a city squirrel. Have treats ready like peanuts, unsalted, raisins, things of that sort. Anyway, I have done this for years when I see a squirrel because I love squirrels. However, in the neighborhood that I live in, we have a huge cat population, which, like I said, I am a big fan of cats. I love cats. However, when a squirrel has a little nest full of babies and a cat climbs into the tree and eats the baby squirrels, that decreases the squirrel population, increases the cat population. I would like a happy medium. However, I cannot control this. I've tried putting out a squirrel feeder in my yard. The squirrels completely ignore me. They ignore the feeder, no matter what little tasty treats I put in there. They don't care, they don't care, they don't care. They don't care. So, anyway, I do this to the squirrels when I see them to attract them. And the other day, I was at the post office with my daughter, who is a year and a half old. And, of course, naturally, we saw a squirrel. I started attracting the squirrel. Squirrel came close. We had a good interaction with the squirrel for a minute or two before it decided it was bored with these friendly humans. But when I was doing this with the squirrel, my daughter likes to imitate me, and she started doing this with the squirrel. So now, every time we go to the post office every time we see a squirrel, every time somebody says the word squirrel or square or anything that sounds like squirrel, we even have a stuffed squirrel. It's actually like a door stopper, stuffed squirrel. And when she sees that, she does this. So that is very funny. It's crazy how smart she is. We'll be driving past the post office and she'll start doing this. Like she knows. Well, because we have seen that squirrel, or at least other squirrels, multiple times at the post office. If we go to the post office in the morning for my shipping out eBay items, we will see the squirrel or a squirrel. I'm not sure. It does not have any identifying factors that I've noticed. But she knows when we drive past the post office. We don't even, like, we could be going to Walmart and the post office is on the way, and she knows. She pays attention to landmarks when we're in the car, I guess. Crazy. So, not only did I unintentionally teach my daughter about this squirrel call, I hope that I can intentionally teach you. And I hope that you are, or at least will become, a fellow squirrel lover. Right? Is there a chance? Can I convince you? Have I convinced you? Let me know. 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 Become the squirrel. Become the squirrel. You are the essence of the squirrel. I am the essence of the squirrel. And you know what? I also watched a video that if you rub 2 quarters, like the rigid edge of 2 quarters together, like it resembles the sound of a fellow squirrel cracking into a nut. So nearby squirrels will come and try to investigate and steal that squirrel's lunch. But it's not a squirrel having lunch. It's you rubbing quarters together. And nonetheless, the squirrels will come around. So sometimes I don't have 2 quarters on hand, so I'll just go like, which is a similar sound. And my daughter has started doing that as well with the arm movement. So we look like a bunch of weirdos. We're literally in public at the post office outside doing this, and it doesn't matter. I can do anything now that I have a toddler. Nothing is weird. But I'm getting a phone call. So that's the end of this filming session. Thank you guys for squirreling out with me, and I'll catch ya on the flippity flip.